So this is some barbecue spare ribs on top of some Quatila lime chicken that I got back in Friday. When Dad... No, wait, it wasn't Friday, it was Thursday. When Dad told me to get four cheeseburgers, basically to bring over to his place. I think at some point today, within the very first hours of today, I found this YouTube video called the YouCut Challenge that had some surprisingly graphic pictures of the kind of lesion that can be caused through continued YouCut use. I was pretty stunned that something that graphic was ultimately allowed to be on YouTube, only being age restricted, but what mainly drew me is the 11-minute music track throughout the video. Those were, yes, very efficient indeed. Yeah, quite a few advantages. Shelter more people and in less room. Dwarven style workshop. The song track itself, for being 11 minutes long, it has a pretty slow build up, but once it hits the climax, it's definitely worth it because the climax sounds pretty epic to me. Dad gave me this Arizona fruit punch somewhere between, I would say, roughly an hour ago. I had 2 pieces of pizza, basically a quarter of it, at around 6:30 p.m. When I woke up after falling asleep around, I want to say 1 p.m. I'm currently working through all the dwarf side quests. Though I'm not entirely sure how dwarves are depicted in this particular adaptation. The Dwarven Art of War. Two workshops at level 16 or higher. I currently don't have the space for that. I should probably focus the next, most likely research expansion I get, on upgrading this Dwarven portal to its highest level. I recently upgraded the Crystal Lighthouse from level 1 to level 2 purely on ancient knowledge packs. I discovered on Discord, in particular the Rapper Hub server, which is a server that hosts Rapper offline, a way to be able to load Flash content again without me having to change my system clock. And even if I did that, I honestly don't think it would work. Oh, this is a level 17 workshop. A level 18 workshop, like this one right here, requires a completely different allotment of space and requires a fairies chapter research upgrade. In particular, it's all the way... It's over here. Fairy Style Workshop. Still, the fairies chapter is pretty important. That's where you get the mercenary camp. Thing is, I think you have to wait till quite a bit later before you get the units I'm interested in the mercenary camp for. The Remnant Frogs and the Valorian Guards. You do get the last Cerberus research upgrade in the Orcs chapter. Then there's the Wood Elves chapter, which introduces mana. Me in particular, I like to use the Cerberus as my light melee unit. The standard Elven Archer as my light ranged. The Banshee as my mage unit. And in fact, prior to that point, mage units were UP to me, which in this case stands for underpowered. Even if I had an advantage, I couldn't win. with mage units. Couldn't win a fair fight with them. I prefer to use Valorian Guards as my heavy melee unit, since they have some range to them, so they're less tedious to use than the Tridents. And I like to use Remnant Frogs as my heavy ranged unit. Though, of course, I am willing to differentiate from these preferences if doing so is required. Refined marble, steel, and planks. Why would you want to refine them, though? Then there's the Sorcerers and Dragons chapter. There's where the Valorian Guards come into play. Along with a Banshee promotion. Then there's the Halflings chapter. Every chapter comes with a number of squad size upgrades, along with city expansion upgrades, and there's the Remnant Frog unit technology upgrade. Then there's the Elementals, which introduces sentient goods such as the Moonstone, Platinum, and Elven Tree Gum. As well as the Mechanic of Minerals, Ghastly Banshee. Then there's the Amuni chapter, which introduces these sentient goods of Obsidian, Arcane Silk, and Royal Velvet, as well as the kind of culture Prestige, in which case you apparently need to get that prestige from the Temple of the Dunes. I cannot comprehend how my Elvenar city will look if and when I reach that point. After that, there's the constructs chapter, which seems to introduce more sentient goods, such as silly soap, ahoy shrooms, and cosmic bismuth. Then there's the Elvenar chapter, Frog Prince, then the Embassies chapter, new production options, And then finally, the most recent chapter to be added, the Traders of Unger chapter, which introduces the mechanic of urnium. I have no idea if they're ever going to introduce more chapters, but the current city looks pretty good. Thing is, I haven't yet found a slot to put down the main. To put down the sled building that I got from this event. I haven't found a slot to put down the Everblossom sleigh. I was, however, ultimately able to get the Wood Elven float, and at the time, had the last chest I opened not been a success, then it's pretty likely I wouldn't have been able to get that float building. This is the sleigh building, that's the evolvable building. And I currently have 2 carnival artifacts, enough to get it to level 3. Oddly enough, I'm not producing enough supplies. Or at least not faster than it takes for me to train units. I can most definitely get the research points for this technology upgrade, but I have no idea if I'll be able to get the copper and the granite in time. I think I'm about 2/3 of the way there. And unfortunately, the former president was acquitted today. I believe it was a 57-43 vote in the Senate following the end of the trial.